Guys, something may have slipped out regarding the upcoming June 22nd episodes, and my jaw is still firmly on the floor. We all know the intense, heart pounding situation with Rocco being absolutely terrified for a rapidly deteriorating Brit, right? The insider buzz is that Rocco makes a desperate, panic stricken call for help, his voice cracking with sheer terror, reaching out to Danny and Charlotte. According to the unconfirmed information, these kids then pull Nathan into the mix. This sets off a massive, unstoppable chain reaction, where Nathan supposedly feeds a crucial, highly specific clue to Lulu and Dante, pointing them straight to a remote location in the British Virgin Islands. Meanwhile, across town, Carly is supposedly spilling everything to Brennan about Cullum and the severe, imminent danger Jocelyn is currently facing, which makes Brennan even more hypervigilant. But here is the kicker. The leak suggests that Cullum might actually pull off a shocking, sudden double arrest of both Carly and Valentine in a moment nobody sees coming. Add in the rumor that Trina is shifting her entire focus to her music after a very specific interaction with Ava, and Portia completely freezing Curtis out of the delivery room updates, and we have a massive leak on our hands. But let me tell you, there is a lot of hidden agenda woven into these spoilers. Everyone assumes that this is just a straightforward, classic rescue mission mixed with some standard family drama. Most viewers believe that Rocco is just a scared, traumatized kid doing whatever he possibly can to save Britt from a sudden, tragic medical crisis while they are on the run. The obvious explanation seems to be that Nathan is simply stepping up as the heroic, concerned brother figure, providing Lulu and Dante with the exact coordinates in Tortola so they can swoop in, play the heroes, and bring everyone home safely. On the other side of town, the general consensus is that Carly is just acting out of sheer, unadulterated desperation, using Brennan as a sounding board because she is absolutely terrified for Jocelyn, and that Cullum is just doing his job as a ruthless, by-the-book agent. Furthermore, people think Trina is just naturally maturing and choosing her career over chaos, and that Portia is just acting out of standard, intense pregnancy stress when she cruelly tells Curtis to only talk to her doctors. But what if we're looking at this the wrong way? If you ask me, something about this feels hidden. The pieces fit together a little too perfectly, almost like someone arranged them on a board. What if that wasn't the real reason Rocco's call went exactly the way it did? Let us look at the behind-the-scenes possibility here. What if someone deliberately planned this entire sequence of events from the very beginning? Think about Nathan for a second. We know he is holding on to some massive, dark secrets regarding his true identity. What if Nathan deliberately allowed Rocco and Britt to get all the way to Tortola just so he could secretly track them and then play the ultimate hero for Lulu and Dante? By feeding them that specific clue, Nathan solidifies his fake identity and gains absolute, unquestioning trust from Dante and Lulu. It is a masterful, terrifying manipulation. He essentially creates the crisis just so he can provide the cure. And what about the situation with Carly and Brennan? What if Carly isn't just venting her fears to Brennan? What if she is actively, knowingly setting a complex trap for Cullum, fully aware that Brennan has the underground resources to intercept the authorities? There is unconfirmed information suggesting that Carly actually wants Cullum to attempt an arrest on her and Valentine. Why? Because a high-profile arrest will draw Cullum out into the open, exposing his double agent status to the mysterious contact out in Geneva. Suddenly, the story isn't about innocent victims running from the authorities. It is about a highly coordinated, incredibly dangerous counterstrike orchestrated by Carly. Carly is a mother tiger. When Jocelyn is threatened, Carly doesn't just panic. She goes to war. Let us take a moment to dive deeper into Trina and Ava's dynamic, because this is where the insider buzz gets really fascinating. Ava has been receiving mysterious, threatening messages lately, right? What if Ava's conversation with Trina wasn't just a friendly, supportive chat about focusing on music instead of family drama? What if Ava is subtly, psychologically manipulating Trina to step away from her family because Ava knows a massive destructive storm is about to hit Portia and Curtis. By encouraging Trina to focus solely on her premiere, Ava isolates Trina from the impending fallout, perhaps to use Trina as leverage later. And speaking of Portia and Curtis, the speculation is that Portia's cold decision to cut Curtis off and force him to get updates solely through the doctors isn't just about marital tension. What if Portia knows something medically devastating about the baby that she is desperately trying to hide from Curtis? There may be more going on here than just a standard domestic dispute. This alternative story paints a picture of a town where every single conversation is laced with ulterior motives, dark secrets, and strategic positioning. We need to look at multiple angles here. That's one possibility, but another theory is that Cullum is completely aware of Carly and Valentine's trap. What if Cullum's impending, shocking arrest of Carly and Valentine isn't a surprise to him at all, but rather a highly calculated, preemptive move to get them into a secure, off-the-grid facility where nobody can reach them? In this scenario, Cullum uses Jocelyn as the ultimate bait. He knows Carly will do absolutely anything for her daughter, so he deliberately makes it look like Jocelyn is in imminent, lethal danger. This forces Carly to panic and run straight to Brennan. Cullum intercepts them at the perfect moment, makes the double arrest, and essentially wins the entire chess match. This changes our entire view of Cullum from a blunt, aggressive instrument to a brilliant criminal mastermind who is always 5 steps ahead of Carly, Valentine, and Brennan combined. I keep wondering whether Nathan's seemingly helpful clue to Lulu and Dante is actually a carefully disguised death trap. The second scenario is this. What if Nathan is working directly with the very people hunting Britt and Rocco? He gives Lulu and Dante the exact location in the British Virgin Islands, not to save the runaways, but to deliberately lure Dante into a brutal ambush. Dante has been a cop for a long time. His instincts are usually razor sharp, but his love for Rocco might blind him to the obvious red flags in Nathan's story. Nathan might be trying to eliminate Dante because Dante is getting dangerously close to uncovering the truth about the escaped prisoners, the hidden hostages, and Nathan's true, sinister identity. If Dante and Lulu blindly walk into a heavily armed trap in Tortola, Nathan effectively removes his biggest threats while miraculously maintaining his innocent, helpful facade back home. It is a chilling thought. Now, consider a third behind-the-scenes possibility regarding Britt's terrifying medical emergency. We know there have been whispers about a tampered saline syringe, implying her illness might be faked or significantly milder than we thought. What if Rocco didn't discover Britt collapsing from a genuine, fatal illness, but rather discovered that Britt is faking the severity of her collapse to force a massive confrontation? Britt might know that they are hopelessly cornered on that island, and the only way to get the hunters to back off is to create a massive, undeniable medical distraction. Rocco's desperate, tearful call to Danny and Charlotte might be exactly what Britt instructed him to do, ensuring that the entire town's attention is focused squarely on Tortola. This gives them a brief, crucial window to slip away into the shadows while Lulu and Dante arrive to an empty, cold room. Let us keep exploring these scenarios because the speculation is simply endless and the rabbit hole goes deep. What if Brennan is actually playing Carly this entire time? We naturally assume Brennan is on Carly's side because he harbors deep feelings for her and wants to protect her. But what if Brennan is the one who secretly tips off Cullum about the rendezvous? Brennan might want Valentine out of the picture permanently so he can have Carly all to himself. By deliberately feeding Carly's worst fears about Jocelyn, Brennan pushes Carly to make a reckless, desperate move with Valentine. Cullum swoops in, arrests Valentine, and Brennan is left standing as the sole, heroic protector of Carly and Jocelyn. It is a brilliant, ruthless, emotionally manipulative move that fits perfectly with Brennan's hidden agenda. And what about Curtis and Portia? Another theory is that Portia is aggressively pushing Curtis away because she is being actively blackmailed by someone inside the hospital. Someone might be threatening her, forcing her to isolate herself from her husband during her most vulnerable, painful moment in labor, leaving her completely defenseless. The hospital room, which should be a place of safety, becomes a prison of silence. But guys, we have to talk about the most dangerous possibility. This is the theory that is literally keeping me up at night, and it is the one you will not be able to stop thinking about. What if the person waiting in Tortola isn't just a random hunter? And what if Cullum's ultimate target isn't Valentine or Carly at all? What if this entire orchestrated chaos, the fake illness, the sudden arrests, the desperate phone calls, the hospital drama, is all a massive, town-wide smokescreen for a much darker, incredibly lethal return? The boldest speculation is that Caesar is actually alive and pulling the strings from the shadows, using Nathan as a completely brainwashed pawn. Think about it logically. Nathan sends Lulu and Dante to the remote islands. Cullum locks up Carly and Valentine, neutralizing the town's biggest fighters. Portia and Curtis are entirely distracted by a terrifying medical crisis. Trina is blinded by her music premiere and Ava's manipulation. The entire defense grid of the town is systematically dismantled in a single day. The haunting possibility is that Rocco and Britt are merely the bait for a mass casualty event designed to wipe out Dante, Lulu, and anyone who comes to their aid, while Cullum executes the remaining targets in lockup. Just imagine the psychological horror of this scenario playing out on screen. Dante and Lulu arrive in the British Virgin Islands, hearts pounding, the humid, oppressive air acting as a suffocating backdrop, expecting to find a sick Brit and a terrified Rocco. Instead, they walk into a heavily fortified, inescapable trap orchestrated by a ghost from the past. Meanwhile, Carly, who thought she was brilliantly outsmarting Cullum by working with Brennan, finds herself handcuffed in a dark transport vehicle next to Valentine, realizing too late that Brennan was either complicit or utterly powerless to stop the rogue agent. The sheer, unadulterated terror of Carly knowing Jocelyn is completely unprotected while she is locked away is a nightmare scenario. And Nathan, sitting comfortably back in town, playing the worried, anxious uncle, knowing full well he just sent Dante and Lulu to their potential gruesome doom. It is a chilling, unconfirmed piece of insider buzz that completely redefines the stakes of this entire storyline. I don't know, guys. There is just so much unconfirmed information swirling around right now, and the tension is absolutely palpable. Could Carly and Valentine really get arrested in a sudden, violent surprise raid? Maybe. Could Nathan's clue be a genuine, heartfelt attempt to help Rocco, or is it a lethal, calculated setup for Dante and Lulu? It is entirely possible either way. Could Trina's sudden musical focus save her from the devastating family fallout, or is Ava maliciously setting her up for a much harder, more painful fall? We just do not have the solid, undeniable proof yet. But one thing is absolutely certain. Whatever is about to happen on June 22nd, it is not the straightforward, simple story they are trying to sell us in the official promos. The pieces are moving on the board, the traps are meticulously set, and someone is about to get caught in a massive, deadly crossfire. Keep your eyes peeled, listen to the whispers, because there is definitely a hidden agenda here. I have a feeling the truth is going to be far more devastating than any of us are prepared for. We will just have to wait and see who survives the fallout.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.